Hi everyone, my name is Andrea, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about my HPSP journey as a physician assistant student. HPSP stands for Health Profession Scholarship Program for the Air Force, and this is part 3 in my video series. So in part 1, I talk about what the application process was like to apply for HPSP, and then in my second video, I kind of talk about the initial steps that occur from the time that I received notification that I got the scholarship, from the time that I started PA school and kind of all that onboarding process and paperwork that takes place. And then in this video, I am going to talk about what is PA school been like as an HPSP recipient. Um, I will talk about the active duty requirement that is required of you during school, and then just kind of some general advice of what I've experienced in my time in PA school and how to survive. So with that, we'll get started. So HPSP during PA school, the initial paperwork can be kind of tedious, and I recommend that you take a look at my second part 2 video that I made because I kind of go over some of that. But it can be kind of time consuming. It took probably about 6 months from the time that I got the scholarship to the time that I first received my first stipend and had tuition paid for, things like that. So there's a lot that went down, but after that, it's pretty much smooth sailing. You are a normal student like everybody else. I chose to tell my classmates that I was in the Air Force just because I think it's a really important part of my identity and my future, and I'm excited about it. But if you didn't share that, your classmates would have no idea. Like there's nothing that really is different about you compared to other PA students that you're with. Some of the things that are just awesome about this scholarship program is that your tuition just gets paid without you even knowing about it. Um, Basically, once you get it set up with the school, you never have to worry about it again. They, the school will send you a billing statement like they send everybody else, but honestly, most of the time I never even looked at it because it would just get paid by the Air Force and you're done with it. So that is really, really nice to have and not be worried about tuition while you're in school. You also receive monthly stipends, and how that works is they divide it up into 2 payments. So you get paid once during the first of the month, and then you get paid the other half in the middle of the month. But again, like this is super nice to have. I'm never worried about money stress during PA school, and so I can really focus on school, and it's just been absolutely amazing. Now, I will say, so those are the pros of being an HPSP recipient, but some of the cons, or one of the cons, would just be sort of a lack of communication, I guess. There are a lot of times where I'm almost like, did they forget about me? Like, no one's reaching out to you like an advisor or anything, checking in on you. It's pretty much like once you sign your initial paperwork and your contract and you get your tuition set up, they don't really communicate with you very much. And so, you know, it's kind of sometimes I have questions, I'm not sure how to reach out or whatever. So that's kind of the downside. It's really on you to rely on doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that could be good or bad. But anyway, I just wanted to share some pictures of my time at PA school. So this top left is my professional headshot, and of course I am sporting our Air Force badge because gotta represent. And then these top are during didactic, so just learning things like how to splint, how to intubate, listening, how to auscultate the heart and lungs. Down here, learning how to put in a chest tube. And then some of pictures from my clinicals. And so I should mention, because I didn't already, so I am in my final semester of PA school. My program is 28 months long, and so I'm in the home stretch. I've completed almost all of my clinicals. I only have 3 more left. I completed all of didactic, so that's where I'm at with school right now. So almost done. But as you can see, like I said before, I'm pretty much just your average PA student. So now I'll talk about the one thing that does make a slight difference, and that is the active duty requirement. So all HPSP recipients are required to be on an active duty campus tour for 45 days out of the year. My first year, it was like mid-February to March, but I was notified about it in October. And then my second year, it was January to February, mid-February, whatever. And again, I was notified in October about this. So what is an active duty campus tour? Well, it's pretty much just a title. There's nothing different about your everyday life. You just attend school as normal, and you're just labeled as being active duty. The good thing about this is that you do receive active duty pay during this 45-day period, which is higher than what your normal living stipend is. And you are entitled to some of the other benefits like health insurance, things like that, which I didn't have to use because I already had other health insurance, but so it's kind of nice. But here's the one downside, or the one caveat, is that during this active duty time, you must remain in the United States. Now, here is where I ran into a mistake. So as I mentioned, I was notified in October that I would be active duty in February, March. And that was the only time that I was notified about this. They don't really remind you about it when it's coming up or anything like that. You were notified one time in October and that is it. Well, in October, I was like, I don't have any plans to leave the country. Shouldn't be a big deal. Well, you know, December, January rolls around, February rolls around, and spring break is coming up. And some of my classmates are like, hey, let's go on a cruise. And I'm like, that sounds fun. I'd like to go on a cruise too. And so I booked a cruise, had it paid for, and suddenly, like a week before I was supposed to go on the cruise, it dawned on me. I was like, oh my gosh, when is my active duty coming up? And I looked, and it was right during the cruise period, and I can't leave the United States. And so I had to cancel my cruise, which I will say the benefit of that is there is a law stating that if you have to go, like leave active duty for the military, they have to reimburse you. They have to refund you your money. So it's not like they're like, oh, you're out of luck. There are things in place that prevent that from happening. So I was able to get a full refund on the cruise. So that was nice. But just something to keep in mind when planning, don't leave the US when you're on active duty. That doesn't go well. So really that's it about that. And like I said, there's really not much else to it. So I just want to wrap up the video with some advice that I have about PA school. And that first line, is what you make of it. I think this is really important because going into PA school, I heard a lot of kind of negative things about people saying, oh, it's like the worst 2 years of your life. It's so hard and grueling and it sucks and you just got to embrace the suck, things like that. But I actually had the total opposite of an experience. I love PA school. It's actually been one of the best 2 years of my life because you're finally doing what you have been working so hard to do. And you're surrounded by peers who are equally as motivated as you are. And so I really just think that PA school is all about your mindset. And like I said, it is what you make of it. And then this next point here, find your people. So I have some pictures of some of my people at the bottom. Your classmates, your friends are what's going to make or break PA school. They're going to help you through it every step of the way. These are people that you're going to spend all of your time with during the day. You're going to be with them and then you're going to study with them. And you just got to find ways to make it fun. My friend group, we'd go to the beach and study, or we'd go to the pool and study. And like you can see in that bottom right, we do fun festive activities together. So, and even during one of our breaks, not when I was on active duty, we took a trip to the mountains. So find your people. It's going to help make the world of a difference when it comes to your PA school experience. Third point here, change your study habits until you find what works and then stick with it. So PA school is hard in the beginning because you're just thrown so much information that you might not be able to rely on study habits that you previously relied on. You're going to have to come up with weird, unique ways to study, ways to remember things. But once you find it, just keep doing it unless it stops working for you, and we should be good. Then this fourth bullet point, it's kind of cheesy, but it's true. When things get tough, remember your why. So remember, why did you choose to be a PA? Why are you doing this? And then just be thankful about it. Every time that I find that I'm in a hard spot or things are stressed and tough, I look back at all the things that I've done to get here so far, and I'm just thankful for it. And it really helps kind of soften the blow, so to speak, about your situation. And so just be glad with all the hard work that you've put in and give yourself some grace. And then this last point, again, kind of cheesy. People say it all the time, but it's true. With PA school, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. PA school is going to put you into so many situations that are uncomfortable. For example, just even being in clinicals, there's always going to be that first clinical, that first patient that you have, or the first time you do sutures. And they're always going to be kind of nerve-wracking and uncomfortable, but it is preparing you for the future. And I really think that it's helped me prepare as an HPSP recipient, because I think it'll help me in the Air Force. When I started PA school, everything just seemed really scary. PA school seemed scary, joining the military seemed kind of scary, but throughout my 2 years, everything has just kind of been building blocks and building up confidence and building up things over time. And so by the time you get there, things are just a little bit less scary. And I think this is a good place to point out the fact that I am like, there's still a lot of unknown things for me, and I'm okay with that. So, for example, moving forward, after I graduate PA school, I know that I will have to take commissioned officer training, but I don't know when that will be exactly. And I know that after I complete officer training school, then I will be getting my first assignment. Again, I don't know the time frame, I don't know the location. So there are a lot of unknowns, but that is just the nature of PA school and being in my situation. So you just gotta figure out a way to be confident even when you don't know what's gonna happen next. So really, that's all I have to say about this. I want to thank all of you for watching and following me on my journey. I will, of course, continue to post videos as I go through this process. And I mean, if there's anyone out there who has done this before and would like to give me a heads up on what's going on, I would appreciate it. But if any of you guys have questions for me, feel free to post them in the comments. I'll be honest, I might not get to them right away, but I will try to answer them eventually. And so, yeah, that's all I have for today. And again, thank you for watching, and I thank you everyone for their support.